When you're up and running in business, you know you can't stand still. You have to keep moving. Forward, onward, upward. The Business Finance Guide spoke to one company that is constantly moving and expanding their ideas, Veeqo. They explained how important it was for them to carefully consider all their finance options and to understand what type of finance would suit their specific needs at each stage of their business journey.
Veeqo is a startup company which creates software for retailers to automate their whole business. We started 4 years ago here in Wales, and we've now expanded to London, grown into a team of 36 people, and have raised £2.5 million through crowdfunding. So when I started Veeqo, I knew I was going to need some money to do it. It was software development. I would need to hire someone to build that software. I also knew that raising money was quite challenging. Having raised money in previous companies, banks are not interested in high-risk companies or software companies, so getting debt finance wasn't an option. I knew that we'd have to sell some shares in the company to some people. And I'd had experience of raising money from angels. I know that could be quite challenging. So initially, I put some of my own money just so I could build a very basic version of what I wanted, kind of prove to investors what it would be like and how it would work. So I put a few £1,000s of my money, got a very basic version of it working, which I could then use basically to show people. And around the same time, crowdfunding had just come on the scene. So I approached a company called Cedars, and they had just launched a few months before, and decided to sort of promote my business on there. And I asked, we were trying to raise £30,000 from them. It was actually a very nerve-wracking experience, because basically I had to go around to all my friends and family saying, hey, I'm trying to raise £30,000 for this business idea. I had to tell everyone I was doing it, and it was very public if I'd failed. So I was very apprehensive about it, very worried about it. Luckily, it went well, and after 19 days, we raised the sort of £30,000, and that was just about enough money for me to hire someone to, complete the software. The real benefits, I think, for crowdfunding is not just the money; it's the promotion of your product to a lot of, good people. The press side of it as well is also very valuable, and obviously for us, we got introduced to a really good angel investor who has since gone on to invest over £1 million in Veeqo himself. So for us, crowdfunding was more than just sort of £30,000. It opened the doors to different ways of raising money. I think with scaling Veeqo up, I probably tried to scale it too fast initially. I persuaded the investors to give us more money to scale up the sales and marketing when frankly the product wasn't quite ready, so that was a bit of a mistake. But eventually we got to the stage where it could scale up, and the reason we knew we could scale up is the unique economics of the business. So fundamentals like we knew how many leads we were getting every day, and we knew how many of those would convert into customers. Once we kind of knew those numbers, we could then say, right, if we add an extra salesperson or an extra marketing person, we'll get X more leads, which means X more sales. And we knew that kind of like on a profit and loss basis kind of worked out. But in the early days, it's too inconsistent for you to do that. You don't, the leads are inconsistently coming in, you don't have enough customers. So I think we got to the stage where we had about 100 customers, and that we said, okay, we know what, if we invest £10, we're going to get £20 back, basically. And it was that stage, which was probably about 2 years into the business. There was a period near Christmas a few years ago when we had no money left in the bank, and I had to make payroll by the end of the month, and I was pretty stressed out, very stressed out. In the end, we closed another fundraising round just about a few weeks into January, and I managed to make it work somehow, kind of thing. But yeah, there's been a few times when I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? You've got to accept a lot of no's before you get some yeses, because not everyone's going to see your vision, not everyone's going to believe in you, and that's fine. And that's just part of being an entrepreneur, is to move on to the next person. With Veeqo, some great advice I had was about my flaws as an entrepreneur and as a chief executive officer. So one of our investors, actually Daniel McPherson, identified that I'm a great product person, I have an engineering background, my weakness is in the sales and marketing side of things. He identified that quite quickly, made sure I was aware of it, which was quite hard to take, but I've accepted it. I can only be so good at so many things. And his advice was, it's fine that that's not your expertise, just make up that gap with expertise for someone else. So I took that advice, and I took on board an advisor who had 20 years experience in selling software to kind of make up for what I wasn't great at. And actually that made me feel a lot better. So our plans for Veeqo are quite ambitious. We want to create a £100 million company. About a year ago, we passed the 7-figure turnover mark. In the next few months, we're opening an office in the United States, in Austin, with a team of 4 people. We're also about to look at expanding to Australia as well. We've already got 1 person on the ground there, and we'll increase the size of that team. Where we're going is probably the next 2 years. We're keen to IPO on the AIM stock market, looking to raise around £10 million, which will then take us on our journey to get to the sort of £100 million we're aiming for. We want to be the best in the world at what we do, and we want to become sort of the #1 player in that space in terms of retail software. I think there's a real issue that a lot of businesses don't understand. There are different options to raising money. It's not just going to your bank. It's not just getting a loan. And also explaining that the fact that even if you do perhaps do equity fundraising, some entrepreneurs feel like, oh, I don't want to sell part of my company. It's not a bad thing, it's generally a good thing. It's an influx of cash, expertise quite often, and more support from more people. So I think the Business Finance Guide is a great way of helping explain that. And like I said, I wish I had it 5-10 years ago.
Learning from companies like Veeqo, finance shouldn't be something that takes you away from what you do best. Explore the Business Finance Guide from the British Business Bank, the independent source of information about your business finance options in the UK, and let us point you in the right direction. The Business Finance Guide. Visit our site for expert information to let your business grow as you want.